After a string of poor results, what has gone wrong? Improvements very much needed. Welcome back to Where the Superhoops Talk with myself, Luke, and today we've got Michael and Jared talking all things QPR, including this week's tweet of the week. Michael, tough week, mate.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't go the way we expected, did it? I think we are lacking up top. I think we lack any sort of creation. We're having shots, but they're going well wide. And yeah, it's not been a very inspiring week, to be fair.
No, not at all. Let's start with the most recent game, the Sheffield United draw. What's going on, especially in the goals department, Jared? It seems to be non-existent at the moment.
Yeah, I think we've got one player in red hot form, and no one else seems to be able to score at the moment. There's lots of things you could pinpoint as a reason why. I'm still of the view that there's just far too many changes happening, and the fact that there's no settled, even a settled like nine really. Everybody's changing position. The area that we thought we were strongest in is that area behind the forward, and yet, as Michael said, we don't really seem to be creating many clear-cut chances. I think all of them. I think Chair, Dembele, Smith, Saito, they're all craving a run, and Vale, to be fair, they're all craving a run in the team to get some consistency, but they just absolutely can't get any rhythm in their game, and it really shows. And I think we try and manage these 3-game weeks now. Apparently that is one of the reasons why this manager was brought in, because he was used to doing it in France with Champions League and European football. And I just think they're overthinking it. I think you get 5 subs now. I think you play your strongest players. He says he changes the front 3 depending on the opposition, but the front 3 really have quite sort of similar characteristics. So you just play the 3 that you think are best. And yeah, it's been a tough week. I'm not going to lie. I'm not in a good place.
Well, hopefully you can vent, and by the end of the show, Jared, you'll be in a better place,
Hopefully.
mate. Michael, we actually spoke about it off record, didn't we? All the changes that the manager seems to be making, and sort of trying to put round what's the saying, round pegs in square holes, or whatever the saying is. It don't seem to be working, does it?
No, that's it. I think because of the other week, Escudini's sort of cameo was so poor. Instead of opting for an extra left back on Saturday, we played Field, because obviously Norrington Davies couldn't play. And to be fair to Field, he had a good game. We kept a clean sheet. Dunn at centre back, I think that is his best position. And Benga at right back. It's nice to have a fast fullback going down the right hand side as well. So there's changes that are welcome, but we need to find our best 11 now. I think now the international break being here gives the manager 2 weeks to work out, if fit, what his best 11 will be. And I think we need to go into the game against Hull with that 11.
Yeah. We'll touch on it more in a few minutes' time. But obviously, you've got the international break coming up, so you'd like to think that you can get a team together that is the strongest starting 11. Let's touch on the Saints loss, Jared. It was a bit of a strange game, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was another game where we had the most possession. I'm pretty sure we dominated possession against a team that I think throughout the season have pretty much dominated the possession stats. So clearly the caretaker manager did his homework and realised if you give us the ball, then you got a good shot of beating us. And it was an odd one, because I don't think on paper we deserved to lose when you look at match stats and you look at chances and stuff. But the vibe I kind of got in the stadium was we didn't quite do enough, and we only came to life in the last 15 minutes really. And it was an odd one, because I'm sure people will think we deserve more, but actually being at the game, I didn't quite feel we did enough anyway. And again, lots of changes, maybe subs at the wrong time. It was a weird 3 games really, because I didn't expect us to get 1 point from 9, I'll be honest. And maybe we deserved a bit more, but then we probably could have lost on Saturday as well, because Hamer probably pulled off the best 2 saves of the game. I don't really remember too many chances. But yeah, the Southampton one was again probably more frustrating than Ipswich, and I didn't think I could get more frustrated than I was after that game. So.
like you are right though in terms of what you're saying about the stats. Sometimes it only shows one side of the story, doesn't it? Being a fan, being in the stadium, and seeing the game live, you get a feeling of how the game's actually going. And it was probably the worst time, Michael, to play the Saints, wasn't it? Because obviously they get rid of Will Steele, they bring obviously their under 21s manager up for an interim basis. It's the worst time. It was the worst time to play him.
That's it, yeah. I mean, new manager bounce is something that will haunt me forever when a player team has just sacked their manager. But yeah, it was the last 10, 15 minutes of the game, we battered them. But it's a shame. It's a 90-minute game and we were poor and they took their chances and we didn't. So it sums up the last few weeks, to be fair.
Yeah.
The new manager thing. If you've got any sense about you, you will put everything you own on Norwich beating us in a few weeks' time. When they get a new manager, they haven't won at home all season. It's just written in the stars, that one.
Don't say that. Don't say that. You have to be Norwich.
Sorry,
Right. Obviously, after a tough week, we really now need to see. It's not only been a tough week. It's been a bit of a roller coaster couple of weeks, I'd say. So it's kind of from the consistent basis that you had a few weeks ago. It's definitely changed. So what needs improving? What has gone wrong, Jared? And what would you say is the thing that you think, right, we need to work on that and that needs to change?
I don't think any player is sure of their position. And again, I could look at stats, but in my head, from the last few games, the only players that have played pretty much every game are Madsen, who's arguably been our best player this season, and Burrell, who's started every game. And again, those two have been the most consistent. And I think it shows that if you give players confidence and you put your arm around them and say you're going to be first choice, they do perform. And then it's up to the rest of them to prove that they actually deserve a chance. I think chopping and changing really hasn't helped. I think Norrington Davis played really, really well against Southampton. I thought he was our best player by a million miles and absolutely showed why the decision not to play him on Saturday against Ipswich was ridiculous. So he's got to be a nailed starter, I think, and Benge at right back's got to be nailed now for the time being. I think the Jimmy Dunn right back experiment is long gone. And Benge showed a bit of pace. He put in a couple of brilliant crosses first half, especially. Jimmy Dunn at centre back, I think I agree with Michael. I think that's got to be the first choice. Now I'd probably have Morrison beside him and give them a run of games, give them 5 or 6 games to get used to each other, especially with a new keeper behind them by the looks of it in Hamer. Varane and Madsen look pretty nailed on, and then it's the front four kind of thing. Is he going to go with 2 strikers, which hasn't really worked in the last few weeks? I just think he's got to make some tough decisions, and for me, it should be Burrell, and what else he does, I have no idea. But I think some of those players are craving consistency, and they just aren't getting it.
Yeah, you need that. I mean, Burrell aside, because he's the only geezer that's been scoring at the minute. But apart from him, there's been a lack of goals throughout the team, and that can come down to a lot of different reasons. What do you think needs to change, Michael, for there to start being some goals? Is it the consistency to build them sort of patterns of play? Is that something that you also think needs to be put into place?
Yeah, I agree with Jared. I think Dembele the commentator said he was like the danger man for us, and I think once he starts polishing his end product, he will do well for us. But he needs to run games to do that. I think he's got the dribbling down to a T. He gets in the right positions. He takes the right shots at the right moments. But ultimately, his end product isn't good enough at the moment. But same with Harvey Vale. When he had the opportunity and when he had that run of games, he played great, and I couldn't fault him either. I think Sato needs to play. I think he's direct, he's quick, and he takes makes the right decisions when he's taking shots. And I think the number 9 should be Burrell, and obviously that leaves Kone trying to find form elsewhere on the training pitch. But yeah, it's tricky.
What's your front? Michael just mentioned his front four. If everybody's fit, Jared, everyone's fit. Who is your preferred front four? Who you going with?
I would say Burrell on current form, 100%. And then behind him, I'm not a Dembele fan, but I feel that with a run of games, he might be one of the most dangerous players that we have. I don't think he's performed anywhere near good enough. I don't think his performances have been anywhere near the level that he's capable of. But I think a run of games would do him good. I would probably next game try Dembele, Saito, and Chair behind Burrell, and then see how they get on. I think it offers trickery. I think it offers pace. I think it offers probably a more polished final product than what we've seen. But I don't think there's any point in starting them and they maybe don't perform, and then the next game you drop them again, and then you just keep changing it. But that would be my front four.
Okay, it shows how much football changes. I remember a good few shows ago we were lauding the fact of Kone and Burrell up top together, and obviously, yeah, like you say, it's strange, isn't it? How things can change. Obviously, coming up now.
I think the thing with that front two is that he's tried it, and for an extent it worked, but it seems Kone is dropping deeper and deeper, and he's just not getting chances. It's not that he's missing chances. I don't think he's not actually in the position to finish them. And I would probably say, I have no doubt, he's a better natural finisher than Burrell. So it's nice to have that option.
Yeah.
But right now you play the man in form, and I think they're both away on international duty, so things might change completely by the time that we play Hull.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Right. So we've got the international break coming up now, and is that a good time, Michael? Get some time on the training pitch with those who are not on international duty.
Yeah, I think so. I think any sort of poor run of games and results in international break is welcome. I think obviously when we were firing, then it came along. We were disappointed, but yeah, it's a time for the team to regroup. Dembele can work on his finishing, hopefully. But yeah, we'll see how Kone does with the Ivory Coast if he plays Burrell. But yeah, like Joe was saying, we're one injury away on international duty to have a completely different 11. So yeah, hopefully they just come back fit and ready to go.
Yeah, definitely. And then after the international break, Jared, it is Hull at home. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Hull at home. So what were we expecting from that game? And I'd like your score predictions, please, mate.
I think it's a tougher game than I expected to be at the start of the season. Been really, really impressed with them, actually. They've had some really good results recently, playing some really good football. So I think it's a really tough game to come back to. I'm not sure what their international duty players are like, if they've got loads away or not. But I think a few weeks ago would have been pretty confident. But I think it's going to be a really tough afternoon for us. Score prediction. I really want to be optimistic, but I'm going to go 2-1 to Hull.
2-1 to Hull.
Yeah.
Okay, Michael, bring some positivity, please, mate. We're in national break. It's going to come back. The Superhoops are going to arrive. Tell us.
I wish I could.
No.
I think I can see it being a 0-0 again. Unfortunately, I think our defence shows that we can keep teams out. I think we've played right back four. Need to start Hamer. He had a fantastic game on Saturday. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-1. Yeah, okay. We'll let him have one.
Yeah, we'll let him have one. Well, QPR fans, I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to go 2-0. Kone is going to get back in form. Him and Burrell, because Burrell's the only one scoring, so he's definitely going to get a goal. 2-0 QPR. That's my little score prediction. Bit of positivity. Right now, we're on to our next segment, which is the A to Z, and we are on the letter F. So, Michael, we'll go to you, please, mate. Who or what is your letter F for QPR?
My letter F is the family stand. I think it's a controversial topic within the fan base. I think having it behind the goal at the lower loft where we should be creating the most atmosphere. And I think historically that's where all the singing has been with the flags. And I know with the flags we've been trying to create a bit of atmosphere behind the goal, but it needs to be moved. I'm not sure where to. I think now the school end is free, maybe there or down Ellison Road stand. But yeah, I think it needs to be moved. I think we need to get the loft rocking again. And I think it will make the difference between a a few points. I think teams will fear coming down to QPR when we've got all of our fans so close to the pitch, getting on the players. That's my letter F.
Yeah, like you say, most teams do have their sort of noisiest fan group behind the goals. It really does spur the players on. So yeah, that's an interesting point. Please get involved in the comments below on your take on that. Jared, who is your letter F, or what is your letter F?
My letter F. We were spoilt for choice. Actually, could have had Ferdinand, could have had Forlin, could have had Furlong. I've gone for Joey Francis. Was too young to see him as a player, but obviously one of QPR's greatest ever players, part of the 75-76 team that was celebrating this season, who finished runners up. He was England captain as well at one point, so definitely one of our greatest ever players. But for me, I remember him most as manager over two different spells. He was in charge when we finished 5th in the Premier League in 92-93 in the first season, and he built a fantastic team there on a very small budget. Developed players like Les Ferdinand, Trevor Sinclair, David Barsley, Clive Wilson, who all went on to better things from QPR. But he always comes across as a man with great integrity. After his first spell, was probably forced out because of decisions to bring in a director of football above him, which didn't go down well with him. And he came back in a second spell, wasn't as successful, but the club was in a complete mess when he came back. So I've only got fond memories of him as a manager and the football that team played. I was about 10 at the time, so properly just getting into football, and some great performances. He was in charge when we won 4-1 at Old Trafford as well on New Year's Day, and I think a lot of QPR fans hold him in the highest esteem as a player and a manager. So it was quite an easy choice to pick him.
Like that. You know, when you said Ferdinand at the start, did you mean Les or Rio?
Or Anton, read all three. We got a hat trick.
Got the collection.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I still like on social media memories, the day that we signed Rio Ferdinand, it always comes up like me lauding it, going, "What a great signing is this going to be?" And like every year, I look back and I'm like, "So I really think it was going to go well." But
that was the stage of QPR that probably you don't want to talk about too much. So we'll move swiftly on. Tweet of the week time. So today's tweet of the week is we've sort of mentioned him already. If regular viewers of this show knows that I'm a fan of his, and it is Kone. So I'd like to see him get better. Back to his best. So the tweet itself, which isn't from me, is Kone. What have we done to him? What do you think it is, Jared? Do you think we need to have a bit of a? Because you were saying Kone was dropping deeper. So is it more of a tactical thing with Kone, or is it a confidence thing? What do you think?
I think it's gone from a tactical to a confidence thing. I think the tactical switch is the thing that affected him, and then the confidence thing has come from just not being in the positions that he was used to finding himself. I can't say that I watched him loads at Wickham. I've seen his goals, but I'm making an assumption that he played as an out-and-out number 9 and wasn't forced to come deep and track back so much. I'll be honest, a lot of his energy in the last few weeks has come doing defensive work in his own half, and I don't think we spent that money on someone that was going to do that job. And I don't think the club expected Burrell to have this much of an impact either. So I don't think it was kind of planned that he would be a number 10. But I think Burrell's done so well, and he's so fast. He has to play as that one furthest forward. So if you've got to choose one of them, you're going to pick him at the moment. But we kind of don't have a great history recently in forwards, and I really hope that we can kind of help him find his form, because he's just got his first international call up as well. We honestly don't want to lose him for the AFCON, but you want to celebrate players if they achieve these things, so he'll get everyone's support. And it is an amazing story where he's come from, and the fact that he's on the verge of being in the African Cup, which Ivory Coast have a good chance of success. I think it's a tough one, and I think that easing him back in and maybe just using him as a number 9 as on when. But at the moment, I think it's a tactical thing that's led to a lack of confidence.
Yeah. The international call-up, Michael, that could do his confidence the world of good, and that is important for a forward player, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think it gets him playing as well. But I have to look at when he was at Wickham. I think he had a really good start to the season up until January, and obviously they sacked their manager and got a new one in, and the whole system that they played didn't suit his style. I think Kone is one where it's a system that has to be around him in order for him to get that confidence to be able to take a shot. And I think by having him tracking back, he's given away silly fouls. It's not something that he's comfortable with. And I think you look at the form the second half of the season with Wickham, he barely scored. And I think it is a system thing with him. I think once he's comfortable in the system, we get him playing, we get him firing, and that's great. But I think with all the changes that we're making, it's not going his way. And I think we need to just have that system locked down, play to his strengths, and then he'll score us goals.
I think it must be hard for the forwards because one minute he's playing someone like Saito on the wing or Smith on the wing that are direct, they get to the byline, they try to get balls into the box. And the next minute he's playing Chair on the left and Vale on the right on their opposite sides who aren't getting down the wing, who haven't got fullbacks to get beyond them, and they're cutting in. So the forwards kind of don't really know what sort of delivery they're going to get. And like I said, I don't think there's any rhythm to his play. I think he's not the system's not made for really a striker because they just don't know what the ones behind him are going to do. So it's tough. And Burrell's done well to poach his goals. He's really kind of just been in the right place at the right time. But Kone's too deep to kind of even poach a goal at the moment.
Yeah, that's good points. Good points all round. Let's hope for a positive next show. Going to get 3 points against Hull, and things are gonna look rosy again. Well, thank you though, boys. I appreciate a good conversation as always, and thank you everybody for watching at home. Please like and subscribe, and please get involved in the comments below. Right, Michael, with winter fast approaching, who is on your early Christmas list for the January transfer window?
Well, I think there has to be one name at the top of all of our lists, and that's Ronnie Edwards. I think we need him to come in and ensure the back line. He's not getting played at Southampton, even under the new manager. He didn't even get a minute against us on Saturday. So I think he'll be out of favour there. He's loved by all of our fans. I think we need a footballer that can come in, play out from the back, drop into midfield if he needs to be, go out right back. He's got the versatility, and I think to have him coming in January would be a luxury. And I think we would do well come the end of the season with him.
Perfect. Right, Jared, now we are seeing a more settled Championship League table. What three teams do you expect to see relegation come the end of the season?
I think it's been a really topsy-turvy season so far. If you look at our position, we've gone from 6th to 16th in a matter of a week. So I still don't think it's quite formed yet. Unfortunately for Sheffield Wednesday, I think their position is irretrievable. I think the fans have been treated terribly. I think the players and the staff there deserve so much better. It's a brilliant club, but unfortunately, I think they're doomed. And then joining them, I think there's a few options, but I think I'm going to go Oxford. I just don't think they've quite got enough about them. I think the manager is the kind of manager that you would want in this situation, but I think if results carry on the way they are, I'm not sure that he'll be around for much longer. And then the third one, another team in really bad form at the moment, is Portsmouth. I think when they came up last season, I think people found Fratton Park quite a hard place to go. I think a lot of teams would have learned a hard lesson there last season, and maybe have better ways to kind of cope with the atmosphere there. I think they're struggling for goals as well. And again, I'm not sure how long the manager's going to last there. So I think for me, it'll be Sheffield Wednesday, Oxford, and Portsmouth.